Okay, so as far as I'm concerned, the doors are done for now. So this is a hood that I got off the a spree, I think it's called 75 a spree, a spring, whatever, that junk car that I used to have over there. Because the original hood I had was too rotted out. So this is going to be about alignment. Again, as usual, I've never done this before, but after playing with it, I realized a couple things. Is the starting point for getting a hood aligned. This, before you worry about your fenders or anything, and again, I got other extra parts, but this goes, this is the hood latch that goes right here, like that. So there's a hole here, and when it comes down, it has to line right up with that, because this is a tight fit. So if you, again, like the door lock, if you lock it, when the hinge goes down, when this part comes down, I have to explain this, if I can release it. So again, you're releasing it, just like in a door. But when it comes down, that part will hit this. I don't know if I can show all this. Let me zoom in. I gotta pick a spot so I know where I am. Okay, when the hood comes down, the hole in the hood hits this. And locks it so it can't open. So you know how when you open a hood, you get like a double release. So when you open the hood, you pull the lever. Watch this. Now it's unlocked. You can lift it, but you still have this hook right here. So then you pull it. You pull this again. And it'll pull that out of the way. See it right here? That's a pretty tight spring. So saying all that, what I'm getting at is, this is in a fixed position. The hood needs to line, the hole of the hood needs to line up with this. If it's off to the side, either way, for one thing, it's going to clunk down and the hood's going to shift over. So that's the starting point. You got to line up with this. I'll focus this the best I can. So again, here's the hole that I'm talking about. And this is the way it sits. So I'm going to pretend like I'm closing the hood, but I'm going to actually lifting this. So this goes, the first thing it hits is this. It hits that, now it's locked. You pull this, it releases that, now you're still stuck. You pull this, and it should come out. See, I'm having trouble getting this out. Now if I turn it, I can drop it right out. So let me put it back in. I'll pull this. For one thing, you got to make sure that you pull this really hard. You pull this really hard. If I just pull the pressure that I think should do it, it's not doing it. I mean, if I pull it extra hard, it'll come out. But if it's cocked at all, for instance, if it's forced this way, you can't release that. So that's what I'm going to work on. How do I get this? How do I get this and this to line up? Again, it's hard to do it when you know you're out of it. Hard to do when you're with a camera, because the camera isn't like your eyeball. It does not adjust automatically. Maybe someday. So when I close this, again, I don't want a hood that's hard to open or clanky and all that. So when I look in here, I'm going to tell you if I see it lined up. This hood needs to go a little bit that way, or this support needs to go a little bit that way. I don't know if there's any adjustment down here on these radiator support bushings. And also, what I can see, is this piece here. It's hitting way in the back. See that? I can see a scrape mark. This hood needs to go back. Now you can adjust the hood, but the problem is when I adjust the hood back, then the fenders stick out forward. So it's a combination of getting the hood lined. First you got to get this lined up. Then you got to make sure you're the right distance here. So I'd say before you even mess with the fenders at all, get this so it opens, no problem. Which is what I'm going to be working on, and I'm not going to be able to explain it until I figure it out. But that's the starting point. So watch, I'll show you what happens right now. And listen. Listen to the noises. It's kind of hitting, and I got now when I open it goes. The first part opens. Now remember, you got to pull this thing back really hard to get it past it. So push down a little bit, and it opens. So it's getting better. I mean, I guess there's a couple things you could do. Who knows what they do in the body shops? If I could get this thing to tilt back further, then I wouldn't have to move the hood and the fenders will still stay lined up. So I might try that first. Maybe I'll put a shim underneath here to tilt this back. And I'll do one more time and I'll show you the fenders and the hood where they meet. See, that's meeting right on. That's good. And it's not that easy to move this. The other one's good too. So that's really where I want this hood to be, this direction. But when you look over here, get closer. Darn it. Again, I don't know what you can see. I'm looking at a viewfinder that's 3 inches. When you get it on your computer screen, it's, you know, big. See, that's lining up pretty good, but you notice there's a tight gap here? If this fender comes out, this will line up. The closer this goes, the higher it goes. The further away it goes, the lower it goes, which will line that up. So that one's okay. And this fender needs to come out. There. And looking down here, and looking down this gap here, it's right there, it's touching. And here it's good, and here it's good. It's really weird. It's tight here and it's tight here. On this side. And on the passenger side, I have a good gap here. This needs to come up, or this needs to go down. That's not going down, so this is gonna have to come up. So this gap is pretty good. There's also a problem with this. Either this hood needs to go down, or this fender needs to come up. So I'm probably gonna have to raise that fender somehow. But again, I guess these videos are kind of for people like me. We just kind of figure it out together. But again, I think the starting point is here. Because you can't really move the radiator support. Maybe you can move it a little bit if I loosen up the nuts and try to. But if I remember, that slot was pretty tight. So that's what I'm going to be working on now. Well, the last thing I want to say about this is I'm going to bring over the nose. I'm just going to go over there and carry it. So even though you think you've got all this lined up right, the nose has to go in these holes. So really, the next thing after you get this hood lined up is you got to put the nose on, and these fenders are going to move together. Let's just see where we are. Take these nuts off. Oh, you see this magnet? You got a magnet you can just put your nuts and they won't roll away. So we'll see if these bolts even will line up. I'm looking at this latch. This latch is supposed to go through this hole. So I might need to take this off for now. Just line up the bolts. Those two are in. I have to get through this. Also, one of the mine bolts goes through there. So this mounts 1, 2, this 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 holes I gotta line up. Now these I just want out of the way for now, I guess. And I might have to take this off. Or this off. Let's try it again. Again, some of these jobs would be easier with 2 people. I got these 2 in. I got this one in. Can't. I'm gonna have to put a bolt so this thing doesn't fall off. So I'd say get one of these corners in and put a nut on there. But I can't get this bottom one to go in. And I don't want, if it drops, I could break this whole piece. Oh, I didn't take this nut off. That didn't help. Now we'll try it. Okay, just looking at these 2 mounting holes here. These fenders, both of the fenders together need to spread out a 1/4 inch. So just to recap what I think, never having done this before. Get this hood lined up first. Get the hood latch so it opens and closes easy, or whatever makes you comfortable. So you're getting hung up. This is what you don't want to happen. It's catching that top. Where is it? Because I have this extra one, it's getting hung up on this. Somehow. Or maybe it's even getting hung up on this. It also seems like you gotta have this just in the right spot. So I guess, get this working, get this nose cone piece on first, have these fenders loose. And go from there. And see, I have a brace here. Make sure you don't have this brace on here, because this is, I've been wondering, what does this brace do, if you can see it. I think this brace holds this center of this fender. I mean, obviously it does, but what I'm saying is I think it has something to do with spreading. So, I'm talking to myself too. So line this up, get this working first. There's a bolt here, a bolt here, a bolt here, a bolt here. Get these loose. Get this nose cone on. I guess tighten it up. And then we'll go from there. The back is going to have to be adjusted later, because this is the starting point. So here's the front of the driver's door. It's good up until here, and it widens. So I can't push this forward because it'll get too tight here. So that will have to either, I don't know, work. But I can't, this won't go forward. That I have to do something with, I don't know, welds them, I don't know. So now look at the back of the hinge, back gap. Again, we're trying to determine what to do with the hood. Now this piece is not moving, okay? This is welded. But that gap is pretty good. So that tells me I'm not gonna move the door. I'm not gonna move the fender back. I have to do something at the front. Let's look at the other side. This is the driver's side. Okay, we're at the passenger door. This gap. That gap right here is good. It's a little bit weird right here. Might have to grind some of that back. But this is good, so I don't want to move this door. Now we're looking at the passenger front door part of the door. Again, this is a weird gap. It's good. It's pretty good all the way to right here. And if you look at this, you can see that this is way low. So just thinking to myself, it'd be nice if I could push this up. So if I push this up, this will go in, and I won't have room. So I'm gonna have to do something here, like weld a piece in, or lower this door in the front. If I lower the door in the front, it'll match. It'll get better. But what is the door gap in the bottom? No, that does not want to go down. If anything, that gap is a little bit smaller than this one, a little bit. And this trim that I never took off lines up with the old trim. So that's good. The height of the fender is good. So I raised it up, loosened the bolts, put a support. I pushed it all the way I could that way. But that got me thinking, when you put your subframe on, there's bound to be a little play in the subframe. That's the two pieces that hold all this stuff on. If it's tweaked this way a little bit, or that way a little bit, then you're going to have trouble, because everything bolts to the subframe. Except for the hood. Let me think about that. The hood, except for the hood. So, I would say try, I mean, how you determine center, I don't know, when there's no front end on here. But I think it is important. I mean, if it's only off an eighth or a quarter, it's going to matter. Nothing I can do about it now. But something to think about. They must have some kind of jig when when they put these subframes on. They must drop it in a jig and it lines up into these certain holes and that. But I don't know what that is. And I'm sure not going to loosen all this whole mess up just to try to gain a quarter inch. I'll just move that latch over. So I just use this tool right here, because that's what I had. I just made the holes a little bit this way and a little bit that way. The beauty about metal is I can always make these holes look factory again if I wanted to, but I don't think it matters. So I'll give it a try. Also, if you notice right here, this is a reproduction radiator support, but I cut this old tag out of my original one. I just welded it in there. And since I was right here, I noticed that there was a couple high spots, so I just fixed it. Need a little bit of Bondo. So now I'll put this on and see if it works, and again, the problem with this camera. I'll put the latch back on, see if it works. If not, I'll just make the hole bigger, because I don't know what else I could do. I really don't know, because I think this is the starting point. It's my car, and I can do whatever I want. So I couldn't do it by myself. I mean, I trouble doing it by myself, so I just piece of wood and a shim. I'm able to push it. I just can't push it and tighten it by myself. So then I'll tighten these up. I'll put a mark. If it needs to go more, I'll go more. I tighten these up first, so I got something to push against on this side. That's all I can think of. It also occurred to me, once you get this lined up, however you do it, I'm not saying I'm right. This is square here, so you can measure off this edge and then this edge. So right now I got like 26 and 9/16 here. And 26 and 3/4 here. This is 3/16 bigger. The hood is 55. It should probably have at least 1/4 on both sides. So it should be 55 and a half. Again, I'm just guessing on this, trying to work it out. I forgot what I said, 55 and a half. I got 54 and 3/4. But this side needs to go way over. But I'm gonna get this side set. Oh, and by the way, from this bolt hole to the bolt hole on the other side has to be, I measured it, I forgot, I think 55. That's got to be 5 feet. So it's just a rough measurement. An inch off. So I think this needs to go at least another 1/2 inch. So I forgot what I said now. I got 26 and 9/16 here. It's gotta go more. I mean, even the center has to go more. Let's see if I can get it. Mark on here. 26 and 5/8. I guess I got a 16. 26 and 5/8. What did I say? I forgot what I said. So right now, hopefully that's good. Hopefully. No, it's not, because that's going to go that way. Actually, I think I need another 1/4 inch. But let's just give it a try. See how it is to open. Opens good. So, let's close it one more time. Closes good. I got like 3/6 or 1/8 of an inch gap. I think I need to go a little bit more. Getting there. So I'll see if I get another 1/8. It could be that the bolts won't go any further in the slots. I marked it. Oh, by the way, I loosened this bolt back here. There's one bolt underneath, the furthest one this way. And I loosened the one inside the door above the hinge. So it could tweak. I got a 16th. I'll go a little bit more. I got an 1/8. So going over this one more time. Well, I think I need to adjust this side now. And then if I have to move this or the hood, I will. So I gotta make sure these are tight in case well, I'm gonna pull that, so that'll be okay. stay on the mark. Now we know this has got to come in. Hopefully it will. Put a mark in there. Just using a nail because I have one with me. I gotta put it a little above or else it'll bury my mark. It moved by itself. Let's see what happens now. I think this bumper needs to go down. Yeah, look at my. I think it's good. I think that's the gap you're supposed to have. Again, we're just starting at the front. A nail. A hair, a little bit of play right there. Same, flush, flush, closes, let's try opening it. So go up, push down a little bit. So you got these little rubber bumpers in here. So you need to be and they're sloped. This one's worn out, but it's just about the thickness of that nail. So that's right. So the last measurement. I gotta have I forgot what I said now. It's a hair under 5 feet, I believe. I'm really close, within a 16th or 8th. So I'm just gonna I'll just put a piece of tape here, that's what I'll do. I'll put a piece of tape here, a piece of tape there. If I need to put this nose cone on, I mean when I put this, if it's off a little bit, I'll move a little bit. But as for this hinge in the middle, .26 and 9/16. It's 26 3/4. So this is off a hair, but it works. That's what I want. I don't know if I should play with it. I don't think I should. You know, if you were to take your body panels off to paint them, which I don't know if I'm going to do it because it's so hard to line up. Make sure you put a damn good mark this way and this way, both sides. Oh yeah, I was going to lower this bumper. That's loose. Could go down a hair. I don't know if it will. Oh, I gotta raise this nut. See if I can do that. This thing is stuck on there, man. I don't know. How do you turn it? Anyway, I'm gonna try to. I'll put this in a vise. See if I can turn it. I'll end up destroying it. I guess I gotta find two nuts and tighten them on. See if I can find two nuts.